Welcome to Family Gamer TV. We've come to Rare Studios near Twycross to see how they're making their new game, Kinect Sports Rivals. I'm with Danny Isaac. I understand you're executive producer at Rare and on Kinect Sports Rivals. So it sounds like a fun job, but a busy job.
Yeah, absolutely. So Kinect Sports Rivals coming out this April 11th. So we're just finishing it off, and we're showing it to the European press for, I think, the second time now, but never quite as deep as we're showing today.
So we've seen today a full range of the sports. I'm trying to remember them. So soccer or football, weight racing, tennis, climbing. What was the last one?
You got bowling and target shooting. So there's three what we call the fan favourites. So these are the, I guess you'd call more traditional sports, as you said, like tennis, football and bowling, which people just love. And then we really wanted to kind of up the ante and do something different with the franchise, and that's where target shooting, climbing and weight racing come in.
So as executive producer, you're responsible for getting all the ducks in a row so that things come out when they should do, is that right?
Yeah, I mean, obviously to build something innovative and creative as Kinect Sports Rivals, you have lots of different people, from engineers, artists, producers, product managers, musicians. Everyone's trying to drive, and so it's really keeping everyone focused on the right things and really helping them make the right decisions.
Does that mean you're responsible for making sure the product as a whole is profitable, or is it just keeping an eye on costs?
Yeah, I mean, you can look at profit to come from a number of ways, right? You can either keep the costs down, or you can build something really awesome so that people buy more of them. So, you know, every day there's a push-pull to any decision that you make. But fundamentally at Microsoft, we're in, I guess you'd call it a more privileged position where the company is very solvent.
So does that mean there's less pressure on you to actually return a profit on an individual game? So say Kinect Sports Rivals didn't sell enough to get that profit, how would that sort of go down?
I think as professionals we all want to be able to, we wouldn't just throw good money after bad, but ultimately it's a balance, and sometimes money will win out on certain things if I think, hey, you know what, spending that extra money isn't actually going to improve the product quality, because it not always does. But I'm always going to be looking at it really from a consumer perspective.
Now I think one thing perhaps people don't pick up on is just how much creative talent goes into a game like Kinect Sports Rivals. We've seen here today in the studio lots of pictures up on the wall, some real sort of like art exhibit type stuff. How does that fit in with something very technical like a video game?
I think fundamentally everything we do is creative. Even people don't understand, even the engineers, someone who's working every day with maybe math problems or physics problems, the way you solve them, you have to think outside the box. I know it's a cliche, but you have to find creative ways to solve problems and blockers that are put up. And really, in our industry as a whole, and the people we encourage to come from Rare are those creative thinkers. I really don't care whether you're an artist, a designer, a programmer, or a musician. We all want that creativity. We do have an area in Rare along the walls where there's a number of photos and artwork, and some of them comes, as you expect, from artists, but a number of them comes from engineers as well.
I thought it was going to be an Xbox One launch game. Yep. Was that right? And has it slipped, and why?
We're much happier with what we've got today, and I think traditionally, I think a number of titles now, as you look at them, where you can see stuff that come out too early, it doesn't tend to really help. Really building the experience that we wanted the consumer to have was paramount to us.
So with many families having experienced Kinect Sports on the Xbox 360 and maybe have an expectation of how well it's going to work, how are you going to bring those expectations along to that Xbox One Kinect Sports experience?
Well, I think there's a number of things we do to make it easier for people to play. So we have this great onboarding experience that you can go in and learn. And from our user research, we've seen that the more people have these tutorials, the more fun they have with it. With the sensor itself, it's a lot more accurate than the previous generation, so we can really pick up the intent of the player as well. That said, as I mentioned, every player moves slightly differently. They will always do things slightly differently. So there will still be some instances where, hey, it doesn't perfectly work, but if you listen to the instructions and just try, and there's a lot of depth to the product as well. It really can come down to some very subtle nuances. But as a gamer, those are the sort of things I love to learn, right? How to really get the best out of the game. I remember one very clear conversation with he was a father, and he had quite a young son. But he said, "Oh, well, what do you think of the game?" He said, "Yeah, well, I play it, but I don't play it as much." Why is that? He said, "Well, I like to compete." and I just couldn't feel like I could compete. And then even talking to his son, it's like, well, sometimes Dad lets me win, and I don't want him to let me win. And so we found that even our youngest and again our oldest, everyone wants to compete. They want to play and they want to feel like they've won, or they want to feel like they lost because of what they did or what their opponent did. And that's very, very important. And I think with Kinect Sports Rivals, of course, families can get up and play, but two, I guess what you call more core players can still get up and compete and have a real fun game with it as well.
Great, thanks. We're looking forward to playing it at home, having played it in the studio. That's all we've got time for today on Family Gamer TV.